Okay, so we're going YouTube. I've done a quick stream yesterday. This is kind of a follow-up to it. Um, it says it's a guide for 2.0. This is only 1.0. 2.0 is not out yet. It's only at 1.9. But the mechanics and the switches and all that stuff's going to be the same. The only things that are going to change are some tweaking, some tidy up, and the feet. The feet are going to get something. I'm not sure whether it's going to be a feet sculpt or a shoe sculpt. One of the two. But I thought I'd jump in, run you through what the puppet can do, what the puppet can't do, where you wire what up to. It's kind of like I did yesterday, but this is an actual guide to it. So if you're using this puppet at 1.9 or higher, this is what you got to do. But let's quickly jump in and have a look at the puppet. So there's the puppet. Basic HUD at default. It'll have touchpad for menus at the top, and the square at the bottom right with a number in it. That's your energy, and whether you're shaded. When you're under something that is labeled scenery, object, or machine, you'll be shaded. When you walk out of that, it will change from a square to a circle and brighten up, indicating you're no longer shaded. That is in the tan mechanic. 30 seconds to gain a stage of tan, 15 seconds to lose a stage of tan. Mouth uses the mic. The eye blink is a random. It's separate sculpts for the blink. The mouth is separate sculpts for an open or a closed. Rain is random. Touchpad. If tan is on, you can tan. If tan is off, you cannot tan. Waiting pose, if you eject the puppet, after 15 seconds, your character will go into a waiting pose. Now, the waiting pose has changed. It's only slightly changed, but the waiting pose and the photo pose are now different, and the waiting pose is slightly animated, whereas the photo pose isn't. Okay, there it is there. You'll see it does an ever so slight movement. It's sweet bugger all. A little bit of hip sway, a little bit of head movement. It's super subtle. Give us 1 second. Okay, yes, as I was saying, the waiting pose is slightly different to the photo pose. If you come down and change that to photo mode, that is now the photo pose. It's more of a sassy wait pose instead of the relaxed looking pose. Toggling that off while you're there will then allow you to eject. So while it's in that, triangle does the posing, and then while it's not in that, it does the eject. The light purely toggles the light on or off. That's all that does. And that's all that's in the left hand side that you need to worry about, or the touchpad menu. So if I go back in there, do that, go right menu or R3 menu, you've now got, as you can see, it's clearly got a t-shirt, and I've adjusted some of the hair. Color, we'll change the color of the outfit. While that menu is open, L3 to change the hair color, which will randomize the eye color, as I stated before. So just cycle through to the style you color you like. The fringes, the 1 and 2 are plain colored. 3 has the fade, 4 has the fade, and 5 is bald. Same with the back. 1, 2, fringe. Oops. 1, 2 has the ponytail, which has been tweaked. 3 has the pigtails, which has been tweaked, and then the emo in brackets, and then bald. As you can see, they've all got the fades on it, so the bottom is a slightly different colour. Now outfit has t-shirt and shorts, t-shirt and long pants, shorts and the sports bra thing, excuse me, and then long pants and the sports bra thing, and then 4 is the underwear. Now if you go into the options and put the MA switch on, that will be naked. The underwear has a number on the back, that is your health. So as you take damage or not, the health will go down. If I quickly jump into the puppet itself, most of this has not changed. These bottom grid pieces, if you go to the weather, toggle that switch, we'll toggle them on and off, visible. So when it's at that state, as you can see, not visible, but it still does the rain effect. Now, the puppet can be used without those ground pieces. All those ground pieces do is detect from this chip here and display a rain effect. That's all they do. If you delete all those rain effects, the puppet still gets wet and still makes the rain noise, but you just don't get the rain effect. That's all those ground pieces do. Tan does the tan. Again, if you're using my dial, sundial, you can, by default, where it is right now, it looks straight up for the sun. If you turn on this switch, the laser for the sun, which is this one here, will now look for a tag called sun. Now the sundial actually has tags in it called sun. So again, in theory, you should better than just place it straight in, have this turned on, put the sundial in, and it will look for the position of the sun. As you can see, when it turns off, the shadow is no longer displayed. Let's turn on the ground so you can see it. Weather, ground effects, like that. As you can see, there is no shadow, and the sun is not visible in the sky. If you turn that on, off, the sun is visible in the sky. That is so that doing that will allow for the dial sun box to show its shadows. And as you can see, the laser scope here is positioned around about the center of the puppet. So anything from that point there, if the sun is over here and you're using the sundial and the sun is over here, it's going to go through an object and go, okay, there's something there, shade me. But with it switched off, it goes straight up. So anything above the puppet will shade it. You shouldn't have to rewire anything. It's just a matter of hitting a switch on or off. The trigger zone, the old trigger zone to go search above it is still in here. If you'd prefer to use that, it is there. If you're turning the tannable off, use this slider to adjust its tan. Any issues, let me know. Energy has not changed at all. It's all still the same as it was. The functionality or the functions has the idle pose or the wait pose there and the photo pose there. The original poses are there, so you can see it. There's one, there's two. If you want to compare how closely they are to each other, you can actually look at them and go, that's what one looks like, that's what the other one looks like. They look exactly the same, but they're ever so slightly different. Hands, so if you want to choose different hand poses, they are in here. The menus are here, so if you want to change any of that stuff. Now, it isn't a tutorial on how to do poses or any of that, so I'm not going to go into what these do. You shouldn't have to touch them. There's the MA switch, so if you click that, and you're in the puppet, when you go to outfit 5, should be naked. It's not so you can run around naked per se. It's so that if you make your own outfit, set it to 5, you can have it without poke through. The testers, or the posers. Now this extra pose here is purely just to raise the other leg. That's all that one is for. All the rest is still the same. So bend forwards is still bend forwards. These are all test poses I used to get alignments. That's all they are. Poses, follow behavior, jump animation. Now level complete. I am going to have to do some bug fixing, because when you do that, I have to go through and check and make sure everything aligns. It appears to, but again, if it doesn't, let me know. The camera position, they're all defaults. So that's what's going to happen for the 2.0. I'm going to go through, check all this, make sure it's all aligned, make sure there's nothing I've missed, make sure nothing's colliding that's not meant to be colliding. There's the thingy, the health one and all that. If you go into this chip, that is your mouth. It has 2 stages, technically 3 stages. No sound, light sound, loud sound. Medium sound or light sound is through here. Heavy sound is through there, and it indicates a closed mouth if neither of these two are active. Anyone who's interested in the chips and controls and stuff like that, you can look at that and say, okay, that's how that is done. This here is an AND gate with a, if it's above and if it's below, choose the volumes. If they are both active, so it's above a certain volume but below a certain volume, it will go, okay, activate. That's how that works. Everything else in the puppet is kind of sort of default. All the jump animations, all that is default. The follow behavior, when you want to have the puppet, nothing follow the puppet, just turn that off. Go into here, power that down. That will disable the following thing. Normally when I put a sneak in, that's what I do, and this one actually has it. So if you go into here, thank you, into here, and you go into the follow behavior. I mentioned it yesterday's stream. When you go into sneak or kneel, it turns follow off. So if you click on that, you'll see it just powers that down. So if you don't want that to be powering that down, you can just alter the keyframe. The top part here, the brownish colored ones are the ground rain effects templates. The grey one is a shelter guide. All this one is an object that is collided by all, but it's tagged as object, so that the puppet looks up, sees an object, okay, I'm in shelter. The rain one is an actual thing that has the rain effects, and if you look closely, it's not going to be easy to see here, I don't think, but yeah, it's not going to be easy to see. It has the splash, and it has the rainfall, and even like that. And if you come into it, like this, collidable, visible, main, and edge. Now, the main switch is the rain falling down the top. The edge is it has a edge rain which is flat, so it looks like rain falling off a gutter or something like that. If you don't want it to show the edge one, just turn that one off. If you don't want to show the main one, just turn that one off. If you don't want to show either, you can turn them both off. That's all they do. The visible makes it say whether that's visible or not, and the keyframe that's in the puppet, because these are all clones of each other, is just turning it off. So if you want it to be a flat surface with no gutter drips, just turn all the edges off. Or if you want it to just show the drain drips, turn the main one off. That's pretty much it. The randomizing of the rain, if that is open, L2 will randomize it, so it's a chance of raining. It's not when you hit the button it's guaranteed a rain. It just cycles through the randomization. It's for a testing purpose. If you want to delete the testing thing, you can come into it, go to the weather section, go to here, weather, and just delete that. If deleting that, the actual input's still there, but that it deletes it from connecting to the randomizer. If you want to be able to rain more often, turn that down. If you want it to rain less often, turn that up. That is pretty much all you should need to know. I'm trying to think if there's anything I've got to thing. Yeah, 2.0, I'm just going to tidy up any of the little loose ends. And as you can see with the feet, they are looking a little on the plain side. They look like standard feet, so they are going to get a tweak to it. I don't know whether they're going to be shoes or feet yet. I'm thinking they're going to be feet, but we'll see what happens when I get to it. Everything should, when you're under shelter, not moving, stay dry. When you're out in the rain, it should get wet in the rain, and when you run, it should all sweat it and get a little bit wet. So again, if something is not quite doing what it should, throw me a message on Dreams and let me know. Touchpad is touchpad to open and close, or circle to close. Circle doesn't do anything when it's not in the menu. Triangle ejects if it's on eject, and if it's on that one, it will do the pose, whether the menu's opened or closed. The light toggles the light on and off. HP toggles the HP on and off. I've moved it across to the left a little bit so that it doesn't interfere with the other menu. You can turn them off so it won't tan, won't rain. All that stuff is now turned off. It will still look for the shade, but it won't go, okay, you're in the sun, you've got to get a tan. Shouldn't. Again, bug fixing. See any problems, let me know. That is kind of it. So it's got the medium mouth, so if you speak quietly, it does a little bit, and if you yell, it should do a bigger mouth. It sort of blink. The eyes do not move, but it can be easily done to move. The hair, there's 4 different styles, and bald. So if you want to use your own hairstyle, just switch it over to bald, which would be number 5. So boom, boom, there's bald. Stick your own hairstyle on there. On the naked, the eyebrows go down, whether or not you have it set to MA. So I'm going to call it, guys. That hopefully should be all you need to know about the puppet. If you use it, by all means, use it, but be respectful of it. I'm out of here. Stay safe, and I'll catch you all next time. See yous.